Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into a mental technique that is, honestly, absolutely transformative for your daily mindset. If you've ever felt like your brain is just hardwired to default to stress, and let's be real, so many of us do, you are exactly in the right place. We're going to take the overwhelming, exhausting process of trying to fix your thoughts and boil it down to just 3 simple words. Just imagine waking up tomorrow morning, before your feet even hit the floor, instead of feeling that familiar heavy knot of dread in your stomach about everything that could possibly go wrong today, you instantly feel a sense of quiet confidence, peace even. Sounds kind of impossible, right? For most of us, the morning is literally prime time for anxiety. But what if you didn't have to know exactly how things were going to work out and you simply chose to live from the feeling that they already have? Because right now, most of us are stuck in what we can call the daily worry trap. You know the drill: looming bills, ridiculous work deadlines, replaying that slightly awkward email you sent your boss yesterday, or just dealing with this general cloud of uncertainty about the future. We practically train our brains to mentally rehearse these stressors. We go through our days constantly scanning for evidence that life is hard. And unfortunately, when you look for that evidence, you are absolutely going to find it. It's just an exhausting cycle of expecting the worst. But here's the thing. There is a remarkably elegant way to interrupt this anxiety loop. It's a simple 3-word phrase championed by the mid-20th century mystic and author Neville Goddard. Whenever that familiar worry starts to creep in, you simply pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, isn't it wonderful? Now, to understand why this actually works, we need to look at the foundation of the technique. Neville Goddard's core philosophy centered on this really fascinating belief that human imagination literally creates reality. He taught that you achieve what you desire by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So Goddard believed that if you repeatedly ask this question, isn't it wonderful, with genuine gratitude and amazement, your mind naturally assumes that something amazing has already happened. You aren't trying to force an outcome, you're just accepting that it's already a done deal. And this is a massive shift in how we normally approach problems. Think about the anxious mindset. It focuses entirely on a desperate lack of something. We say things like, I want a new job, or I need more money, or I really want my relationship to get better. But all those statements are just screaming to your brain that you do not have those things right now. The relaxed mindset, though, totally different route. By asking, isn't it wonderful? You're not pleading with the universe. You're just relaxing into the feeling of a beautiful outcome that has already arrived. It is a profound shift in your energy. All right, let's move into our first main area here: internal shifts and how this changes your inner dialogue. When we obsess over problems, we naturally ask questions like, why is everything going wrong? And your brain, being the highly efficient machine that it is, will happily hand you a dozen reasons why everything is indeed falling apart. But swapping that out for, isn't it wonderful, instantly shifts your focus to possibility and optimism. Even if literally nothing has changed in your external environment yet, your internal conversation does a total 180. You stop zeroing in on threats and start noticing opportunities. And the real beauty of this technique? You don't need all the answers. Actually, scratch that. You don't even need to worry about the how at all. One of our biggest hurdles is obsessing over exactly how things will work out. How will I get that promotion? How will I afford this? This phrase invites you to just enjoy the feeling of relief first. Instead of frantically chasing solutions every single minute of the day, you start cultivating this quiet trust that solutions can and will naturally emerge. Which brings us to a massive psychological lever here: gratitude. Normally, we wait for good things to happen, and then we feel grateful, right? Well, this technique completely flips the script. You feel grateful first. By feeling thankful before the results even show up on your doorstep, you unlock some incredibly well-documented psychological benefits. Cultivating gratitude improves your daily mood, drastically lowers your stress levels, and just deepens your overall appreciation for life. The good feeling itself literally becomes the immediate reward. Next up, let's look at behavioral shifts and how this helps in breaking those endless loops. Seriously, think about how many hours a week you spend replaying fears and rehearsing worst-case scenarios. It's a lot, right? And the mind simply repeats whatever it practices most. If you practice anxiety every day, well, you become a master of anxiety. This technique acts as a gentle, almost sneaky interruption to those repetitive negative thought loops. Instead of feeding your anxiety with more disaster movies in your head, you inject a thought firmly connected to hope. And with consistent practice, breaking those negative loops gets so much easier. And as your mindset shifts toward hope, your behaviors naturally follow suit. As you strengthen your imagination to expect wonderful things, essentially rehearsing success rather than failure, you actually begin to act differently in the real world.
You might find yourself speaking up with way more confidence in a meeting. You might jump at an opportunity you previously would have run away from out of fear. You start noticing possibilities that your anxiety was completely hiding from you. Your internal expectation of success genuinely influences your external outcomes.
Now, there are a couple of ways to look at this, and they are both perfectly valid. If you look through a spiritual lens, supporters of Goddard believe this actively manifests your desires by physically changing your state of consciousness. On the flip side, looking through a psychological lens, this is just a powerhouse mindset practice based on positive expectation, neuroplasticity, and stress reduction. Whichever lens resonates with you, the outcome is the exact same, and it's incredibly valuable. You are shifting your attention away from fear and straight toward possibility. Okay, so how do we actually do this? Let's get into the daily routine. Unlike other self-help methods that demand you block out 30 minutes for deep meditation or write pages and pages in a journal, the true genius of this method is its extreme simplicity. You can practice this anywhere, anytime. Walking the dog, sitting in heavy traffic on your commute, making dinner, or just lying in bed before you drift off to sleep. Whenever worry pops up, you just swap it out. Boom. Isn't it wonderful? But if you do want a slightly more structured session, here is a super simple routine you can try today. First, just find a quiet spot and close your eyes. Take a few slow, deep breaths to let your body relax. Then softly repeat the phrase to yourself. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? And here is the trick. Do not try to force a specific, highly detailed mental image. Don't worry about exactly what the wonderful thing even is. Just sink into the feeling of relief, gratitude, and peace for about 2 to 5 minutes. When you're ready, open your eyes and just go about your day without worrying how it's all going to happen. Just let it go.
The words themselves are simple, sure, but their power lies entirely in the feeling behind them. You are no longer living in a state of constantly scanning for what's missing in your life. Instead, you're living as though something beautiful has already unfolded. So I will leave you with this final provocative thought. What if you stopped hoping life will improve one day and allowed yourself right now to believe that wonderful things are already on their way? Allowing yourself to experience the peace of that mindset today, well, that might just be the greatest wonder of all. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to give this a try the very next time worry knocks on your door.